A complete basketball player. Dwayne Casey drew up a game plan against me in that 11 series in the finals when I played Dallas to take away things that I was very good at and to try to make me do things that I wasn't very good at. So he's part of the reason why I am who I am today.
Welcome to SI Now. I'm Madeline Burke. He's Robin Lundberg. And Robin, as we just heard, LeBron James, after the Cavs took a 2-0 series lead over the LeBronto Raptors, we'll call them. LeBron credits Dwayne Casey in the 2011 finals for making him the player he is today. And how much is that failure an important part of his story?
I think it's going to wind up a very important part. Look, everyone knows, I believe, LeBron James is the best basketball player ever, right?
No secret. Yeah.
But if there was a legitimate knock, and is a legitimate knock on his career, it's his performance in the 2011 finals. Now, when his career is done, I think it will now be a part of his legend, the way he's responded to it. Because at that point in time, there was a way to guard him that no longer exists. Last night, we saw him hit more contested shots than anyone ever in a playoff game. His jumper has improved. He hits the three. He hit more deep threes this season than anyone since they started tracking it. He is simply and utterly unguardable.
Unguardable. Coming from Robin Lundberg. This is very high praise on LeBron James. I'm just giving you
It's also just the truth.
It's also the truth. He is an epic player, and I agree. You know what? Last night we saw, he was hitting more step backs than some of those Raptors players had points. He was all over the place. He was on. He stepped up when he needed to. And like you said, that growth from early in his career where he couldn't do it on the biggest stage, now he is getting it done in a very challenging dynamic. I got a lot of respect for that.
Since that finals against the Mavericks, I don't think you can point to a single instance where he came up small.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
On the other side, the Toronto Raptors. This was supposed to be their year. They were the #1 seed. The Cavs look vulnerable. The Celtics are hurt. The Sixers are young. But after going down 0-2 at home, where does Toronto go from here?
They're down 0-2. They lost at home, yes, but it's too early to dance on their graves right now. Game 1, they had it. They let it slip away. Lowry really needed to step up late. Game 2, they got their tails kicked. I don't know if I can say the actual phrase on SI now, but they got handled in Game 2, and they have to go now to the queue and step up. And, they have a lot of young talent. They've got, Jakob Poeltl, Fred VanVleet, the rookie OG Anunoby. He's been balling in this series. Dwayne Casey, I think some people are saying, oh, is he getting out-coached by Ty Lue? When you're playing against the best player in the game in LeBron James, you got to get creative, but you also need your stars in Lowry and DeRozan to show up on the same nights as the role players do, to show up on the same nights that you're playing effective defense. They need everything clicking at the same time as opposed to just bits and pieces of it. And if they can get that going, then they can maybe make a comeback and have a run in this series. If not, they need to reevaluate.
Oh, I think they're finished in this series. I think they'll be Drake memed or whatever into oblivion. The question is what they do beyond that. And there's not really an easy answer, because if you're sitting there and going, it's championship or bust, okay, then you blow it up.
Right.
But isn't being very good better than being, say, the Hornets or the Knicks or one of these teams that is stuck in a hamster wheel of mediocrity? So the Raptors are in a good spot. I just don't think they can ever get to a great spot. And unfortunately for their fans, they're going to have to be happy with being, better than most teams.
I don't know. The enemy of excellent is very good. If they're okay just being in the mix every season but not making it all the way, that's, the decision they'll have to make. To the Sixers-Celtics series, the likely Rookie of the Year, Ben Simmons, stunk it up Thursday night. 0 field goals, just 1 point in 31 minutes. Now, despite the struggles, Brett Brown subbed in Ben Simmons for TJ McConnell in the fourth quarter. Of the decision, he said, quote, "It's a tough decision, I admit it. This whole playoff experience is something that I want our young guys, our star players to learn from and grow. The decision, do you go with TJ still or do you go back to Ben Simmons? I'm coming back to Ben Simmons. I'm coming back to Ben." Now, the Celtics would finish with the 108-103 win and the 2-0 series lead. Should Brett Brown have left Ben Simmons on the bench in this decision?
I think he should have left Ben Simmons on the bench. I don't think Ben Simmons had any business in that game the way he was playing. Eventually he's going to have to learn to finish through traffic, learn to be able to obviously pull up and hit a jump shot. But that stuff is to come. I'm not talking about, tossing out his rookie year or making these broad judgments. I'm saying this specific game. You had a chance to steal one on the road. He wasn't going to help you in that cause. He can still learn from it going forward. And I'm not so sure I wouldn't have had Joel Embiid sitting right next to him, because Embiid was getting cooked on defense as well.
I agree. You know, I mean, if this is a regular season game or even game one of the series, it's a teachable moment. You say, you know what, I'm going to ride it with this rookie. I'm going to let him do his job. Let him work through whatever's going on, whatever yips he's got or whatever, you know, defense that the Celtics are throwing at them and just stack in the box and he just can't get in there. But it's game two, and like you said, they had a chance. They were in it, and they nearly lost. You know, they nearly lost the game. They should have gone for the win. Should have stole one on the road and gone from there.
I've seen Tim Duncan sit out crucial moments, right? If Tim Duncan can do it, Ben Simmons can do it. Meanwhile, it was the Celtics who made that question about whether Ben Simmons should play even possible, to the delight of Drew Bledsoe, who returned the favor by wearing a Terry Rozier shirt. Rozier has stepped up. Tatum is a smooth scorer. Al Horford is playing great. And Brad Stevens might be the best in the business. Are we sleeping on the Celtics' chances in the East?
I think a little bit, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like you mentioned, these guys you mentioned, they have some elite role players that are stepping up in the absence of some serious injuries that they've had. They have endured so much adversity, and people have written off the Celtics so many times. From game one when they lost Hayward, the Celtics aren't going anywhere. They make it to the playoffs. Oh, well, they don't have Kyrie anymore. All right, well, they're not going anywhere. They still keep going. They still keep fighting through this adversity. Brad Stevens is coaching these guys up. They're buying in. They're winning games. They're on a streak. And when you're winning and you're doing well and you're performing at this level, they got to ride this. They got to roll with it. And I think that they could go far.
Nobody gives Brad Stevens more credit than me. Danny Ainge deserves a ton of credit. That's a very talented roster, even with the injuries. But the Boston Celtics have something in common with the Toronto Raptors, and that's a problem stopping LeBron James. We've seen it over and over and over again. When he plays them, he sets his GPS for the rim, and he gets there. Plus, in a unique matchup problem, Tristan Thompson historically has owned Al Horford. I don't see the Celtics beating the Cavs either.
And Tristan Thompson is playing like he does not want to go home and face his baby mama right now.
Probably not. Why would you if you were him?
If you were him. All right, the New York Knicks have found their man. David Fizdale has agreed to a 4-year deal to become the Knicks head coach. Fizdale coached the Grizzlies into the Western Conference playoffs in his one full season as coach in Memphis, but he was fired early in his second season after a 7-12 start and a public clash with Marc Gasol. Now, LeBron came to Fizdale's defense after that. The two have a very good relationship dating back to Fizdale's time on the Heat staff as an assistant coach. Did this relationship help give Fizdale the edge here?
I think Fizdale's respected by the players in the league, so therefore it's probably a good hire by the New York Knicks, right? The New York Knicks are a punchline. They're a joke. So you bring in somebody with credibility with the players that can help that reputation. I am in favor of the hiring. The problem is I can't be honest about it and not say I don't expect anyone who takes that job to fail, and that remains the same with David Fizdale.
I mean, I think already today we've seen the headlines come out. The Knicks plan to go after LeBron James. He's going to be a free agent. They're going to go after him. They've got a guy who he respects a lot as the head coach. Yes, it's going to be tough, salary cap, a lot of things in play. But whether or not they can get LeBron James, maybe they can get another free agent, another big-time free agent, because of the respect that he commands from his players and because of the fact that he's a no-nonsense kind of coach. And you don't take that for data.
To the NFL, Matt Ryan can afford a lot more than the product he's nicknamed after now. Ryan agreed to a 5-year extension worth $100 million guaranteed, making him the first NFL player to earn $30 million annually. Is Matt Ryan worth it?
I feel like saying he's the highest paid quarterback in the game is the equivalent of saying he's the most recently paid quarterback
100%.
in the game. I mean, that's just how this is going. That's how this is evolving. However, Matt Ryan, I mean, he's earned his money. In his 10 years in Atlanta, he's had almost 65% completion. He owns 20 franchise records. He's thrown for more than 4,000 yards in each of the past 7 seasons. He's reached 40,000 career passing yards in an NFL record 151 games. And he holds the league mark with a 64-game streak of 200-plus passing yards. I mean, these are some solid numbers, some solid stats for a guy. Matty Ice is out there. He's no joke. I think he's earned that money, earned that paycheck. And again, he's the most recent quarterback to be paid. I don't think he'll be the highest paid for long.
Of course, good quarterback play is a finite resource, right? So you have to pay those guys when they're there. And Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, no matter what anyone says. And you're totally correct. Whatever quarterback signs the next contract is going to be the highest paid quarterback ever. So it's not about what they deserve. It's about what the market says. Matt Ryan's good. Let's just hope the next time he's in the Super Bowl, he can hold a lead. it might be time to call off the NBA playoffs because the Golden State Warriors just got the best point guard in the league back. In fact, for peak value, Steph Curry is the best point guard of all time. Steph is Steve Nash hit by gamma rays, a perimeter version of Shaq in his dominance. And even if he doesn't play it in the prototypical way, no one at his position has ever had more impact on the game. Nobody leverages the court the way Curry does. He requires attention from 35 feet away, his gravity collapsing defenses, to the benefit of everyone around him. This year, when Curry's been on the floor, the Warriors are the best offense ever. When he's been off, they've scored at a rate worse than the Charlotte Hornets. That's why I always found it amusing when people dubbed Kevin Durant the best player on the team. Like they didn't win 73 games and a title before he got there. All orchestrated by Steph. Now Curry has a long way to go to catch the career greatness of Magic Johnson, and he may never get there. But there is a difference between greatest and best. I mean, Curry already owns 3 seasons of player efficiency ratings better than Magic's top mark. As for the rest, Chris Paul, he's been repeatedly owned by Steph. John Stockton and Jason Kidd, nowhere near the same offensive threats, and their passing and defense don't make up the gap. Isaiah Thomas, Steph is already his equal in championships and has 2 more MVPs to his name. Oscar Robertson, a totally different style and era, but his calling card was averaging a triple-double. And we've now seen a current point guard match that feat, and I don't think anyone wants to argue Russell Westbrook is better than Steph Curry right now. I'm not sure why some remain hesitant to throw Curry in the all-time conversations. Maybe it's because he doesn't look the part. Maybe it's because he turned bad shots into good shots and essentially broke basketball. And simply calling Steph the best shooter of all time seems like a sneak diss when he is much more than that. Curry is one of the best finishers in the league, a great rebounder for his size, has the handles to get anywhere he wants on the court, and the passing to make it pay off. Plus, he's in the starting 5 for a team consistently atop the league in D. The shooting, though, it's obscene. And combined with everything else, makes Steph Curry the baddest point guard the league has ever seen. Don't at me. Of course, the Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and we now welcome in our showrunner Ben Teitelbaum to play a Derby-inspired game, a horse, of course, where Ben will give Madeline and I, 3 horse names.
Madeline and me.
1 real and 2 fake, and we will attempt to identify which one is a horse, of course. We've done no research. In fact, I can pretty much only name Secretariat. Take it away, Ben.
Well, you want to play the ponies, Robin? This is a different type of game. We have 6 groupings of 3. Shout out to the producers for some very creative names here, and we'll see who can guess the horse. Of course, let's start with these. Indefatigable, Mighty Eisenhower, and Confederate Yankee. Which is a horse, of course?
Ooh. I will say, man, Confederate Yankee's an oxymoron. Indefatigable is a horse, of course.
I'm going to confidently say Confederate Yankee.
And that confidence pays off.
Oh.
That is 1 for Madeline. Ran it in 1974. All right, on to the next one. Jamaican Rum, Stable Genius, or Lord Baxter?
I will say Jamaican Rum is a horse, of course.
I'm going Stable Genius.
And Robin takes this one.
Ooh.
For a score of 1-1. That was 2001, that Jamaican Rum.
Yeah.
I kind of like that horse pun with Stable Genius
But
because he's stable, but he's also lives in a stable.
It would have to be this year, though, because it's a reference off something someone said, you know.
I know. But he lives in a stable.
Well, you've got 1 day to get yourself a horse in that Derby, Robin, so do what you can.
Yeah. Naming rights.
Next 3, there you go. Elf Bait, Scat Daddy, or Gideon's Tapestry? Elf Bait, Scat Daddy, Gideon's Tapestry.
You want to go first this time?
I wish some of these were horse names. I'm going to go Gideon's Tapestry.
I think I'll go Gideon's Tapestry as well, a horse, of course.
You are both wrong.
Oh,
that
it's
is
Scat
not
Daddy.
Scat Daddy.
Oh,
I was
it
thinking,
is-
I was like, I want Scat Daddy to be the name, but I feel like that can't because I'm also thinking Cat Daddy.
Dope.
Cat Daddy.
Dope.
There's one summer where that song ran and ultimately ruined my life, but that's a story for another time. Next 3, Western Playboy, Country Bumpkin, or Thunderdome?
I'll go Country Bumpkin. horse, of
Country
course.
Bumpkin. Country bumpkin.
You both agree?
Yeah.
We're both wrong.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
both wrong again. Western Playboy, 1989. You clearly need to hit the books a little bit more. Let's see if you guys could turn it around with these three. Impetuous Nelson, Die Hard, or World Star?
Impetuous Nelson, horse of course.
I really want Die Hard to be out there racing with a vengeance, but I'm gonna say Impetuous Nelson.
Barefoot over coal.
No,
or
no,
whatever,
no,
broken
wait.
glass.
Oh, dang it!
It is Die Hard.
Oh.
It is Die Hard, and you guys are still tied at 1-1.
And that was before the movie Die Hard.
You just gotta trust your gut.
Gotta go
Maybe
with
the
it.
movie was named after the horse. We need to do some more research.
All right, can we get Bruce
producers
Willis
get
in
on
here?
that? Final one. Can we break
Ooh,
the
man.
tie here? We're just gonna have to call it. Final three. Play it again, Sam. Chairman Wow. Lusty Latin.
Play it again, Sam. Coming in strong. I'm going with that one.
Yeah, that's
I feel like
what-
that sounds like something
That's what I would
like
go
a
with
guy
too.
would say.
I'll play it.
again, Sam.
I'll play it for the tie. Worst I can do is tie here. Play it against
All right,
Sam,
I'll
horse
go.
of course.
Audible.
That is-
I was getting audible on Lusty Latin right here.
Robin, you play to win the game. You play to tie. I'm calling it a
Playing it
loss
safe.
for both of you.
Playing
A
it
loss
safe.
for
He's the
both
type
you.
of guy who bets to show.
I'm
right?
the guy who left. I left the Belmont when American Pharaoh was about to race.
Do
so
better.
now Ben actually does know a little something about which ponies to bet on. Did I say that right, Ben?
Ponies to play, Robin.
Oh,
Ponies
okay.
to play.
As he is the host of our gambling show, The Line on SITV. So okay, Ben, which ponies should people play?
Okay, I'm not the ultimate expert. You have to check out The Line later today for real intel, but been doing the research, know what's going on. 20 horses this year's field. It is crowded. There is no clear favorite, so tough one to pick. Justify is the favorite at 3-1, trained by the legendary Bob Baffert. Now, there are questions about Justify's inexperience, but people like this horse. They think he looks good. You want to go a little bit more of a long shot? Everyone likes a long shot. Look at 8-1, Audible and Bolt d'Oro. Hot names there. And everyone likes a long shot with a name that just sounds good. So Bravazzo, give me that one. Our production assistant in the back, John Mosho, thinks the horse looked puny, but he doesn't know anything, so take that for what it's worth.
I feel like we need to get Bravazzo an oversized Celtics jersey to race in because that could be solid as well. And I feel like if you're running up to the ticket booth, you got to say, put that on Bravazzo.
Yeah, you could put get some more Bravazzo picks
Yeah.
on The Line
I'm
with
on
Ben
board with that.
Teitelbaum on SITV.
David Ross here. Heard you call me out on TV the other day in the Gastroparesis Challenge. Here we go.
Those MLB players weren't just pieing themselves for fun, they did it for a cause, gastroparesis. And the man behind the Pie in the Face Challenge, Andrew Bellevue, joins us now. Now, Andrew, most of the athletes we just saw and who have participated did it last year. Are you trying to get this going again now?
Yes, I'm definitely trying to get my ultimate goal is to get at least one player from every Major League Baseball team involved. 3 teams have already gotten involved, and I've been tweeting out to pretty much any MLB player, and a couple have acknowledged my tweet, but I haven't seen any pies yet from them. So hopefully we can get every team involved.
Which teams you have involved so far?
So far, the Boston Red Sox have gotten involved, the New York Yankees, and the Chicago Cubs. So if the Red Sox and Yankees can come together to do something for a good cause, anyone can.
That's 3 good teams to start with, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Cubs. Tell us a little bit about gastroparesis and just how rare it is. And from reading about your story, to me, it seems like you're trying to help other people get to where you are, where you've been able to resume a normal life.
Correct. So gastroparesis is basically the paralyzation of the stomach, meaning you can't eat, digest, or absorb nutrients. Gastroparesis affects individual warriors in many different ways, but some of the common symptoms are constant nausea, frequent vomiting, malnutrition, weight loss, and severe bloating. And for me, my biggest symptoms were constant nausea, and I vomited 10 to 15 times a day. I was diagnosed with gastroparesis when I was 10 years old, and I just kind of had it was a very difficult and isolating challenge and condition to deal with. I compare it to living life with an 0-2 count, and literally you're trying to foul off anything you can to stay alive. And unfortunately, there is little awareness for it and no known cure. But in 2011, I was fortunate to receive a gastric stimulator, which is basically like a little pacemaker for your stomach, and it helps keep motility going. And since I've had that placed, my symptoms have been under control, but unfortunately, the success rates vary from patient to patient.
And of course, you're taking donations to help people get to where you are now. Since your recovery and since you've started this challenge and everything, since you've started on the right track, what's the coolest thing that's happened?
Coolest thing. Well, I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so getting the Red Sox involved was, such a big, I can't even put it into words how much it means to me. The game of baseball has been such a oasis and kind of like a coping mechanism for me throughout my journey. So just to get the Red Sox involved and other MLB teams, that was truly exciting. But also hearing, seeing pie faces from across the world and even some overseas in the UK and Australia, it's crazy how much of an impact, a can of whipped cream could do.
Andrew, good luck getting the challenge started again, and I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm Robin Lindbergh, host of SI Now, and I'm taking the Gastroparesis Pie Face Challenge. There have been worse challenges in life. He had nothing to trash talk about last night, but the NBA and the Toronto Raptors reportedly warned Drake after his altercation with Kendrick Perkins in Game 1. Madeline, we all know Drake don't want it with Kendrick, right?
Well, first of all, I have to point out how quickly you cleaned up after that pie face challenge, and you're back here in the studio, so applaud for that. But yeah, no, Drake, appreciate how diehard of a fan he is out there in the six, but you gotta stay in your lane a little bit. You can't be coming at it, John, at a guy like Kendrick. Kendrick's like twice his size.
Yeah, especially, well, I was referencing Kendrick Lamar, but Kendrick Perkins as well. We know what he would do to Drake, right? And, you have to have something to actually talk trash about if you are Drake, which he does not, considering the fate of the Toronto Raptors, especially after Game 2.
Yeah, the Toronto Raptors are in a deep hole. He definitely, he feels like he needs to trash talk him into success maybe a little bit. I don't know, but trash talk, maybe try some encouragement, like the brewery in San Antonio. Did you see this? There's a brewery in San Antonio that wrote Kawhi Leonard a letter saying if he stays with the Spurs, if he stays for another season or however long, they will give him free pizza and beer for life. Is that encouraging? Would you stay for free pizza and beer?
No.
I feel like Kawhi doesn't strike me as a pizza and beer kind of guy.
First of all, like pizza and beer expenses on an NBA salary are fairly minuscule, right?
Yeah, appreciate the gesture. That's nice. Maybe if you throw in some mozzie sticks, then I'll consider it.
I don't think if there's anything in that realm that would make me stay if I'm Kawhi Leonard, though the history of the San Antonio Spurs could be some allure.
It could be some allure, but if the San Antonio Spurs plus pizza, plus beer, plus mozzie sticks, maybe some like bloomin' onion type of situation, onion rings, then I'm getting a little bit enticed. I don't know. We'll continue to evolve this conversation. Same time, same place tomorrow. Follow along on social media at SI Now Live.